Okay. If you all would take a moment and introduce yourself in the chat. We're so glad to have you with us for the first community of practice workshop of the year. So glad that you're here. We have a full agenda and information to share. So hold on tight. We're going to get started. So for those who are coming into the room, welcome. Please introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're joining from, and what's one thing that you love about the work that you do. What's one thing that you love or enjoy about the work that you do? So I am Naomi Williams. I am the Patient Family Engagement Specialist with PFCC Partners. I am joining from Evans, Georgia today. And one of the things that I love is being able to see what is going on around the country with connecting health systems and people with lived experiences. And it is the new year and me and tech. We are recording and it will be available on our PSCC Partners YouTube channel. If you have not already subscribed, I highly recommend that you do. You'll be able to see past workshops and other recordings that we have there. We're also doing a live transcript. You can add closed caption as well. So what we're going to do today, I'm so excited. We get to talk about our annual update. We love being able to start the community of practice off with where we were last year, what we've accomplished, and more importantly, where are we going in 2025? So our topic today is starting your year with authentic patient-family engagement. So here's what you can expect with our time together today. We're going to meet our team, get to know the faces behind this small but mighty team that we have here that's doing all this work. We're going to take a look back at 2024, celebrating our highlights and the impact that we've had. Looking ahead to 2025, so you'll have a sneak peek at exciting plans that we have on the horizon, as well as, which many have asked about, are the best practices where we're giving a practical guide to enhance patient-family engagement. So with that, let's take, oh, I'm going back and forth, sorry. So many of you are already familiar with patient-family centered care, PFCC Partners, who we are and what it is that we do. But if this is your first time joining us, welcome. And so here is our mission, our vision, and our values. This is what we're all about. We want to see a health system transform into one that works with people and through communities as partners in their well-being. We want to be and are the catalyst system of improvements by centering that human experience of health. And we absolutely recognize the critical role that community engagement must play for every effort at delivering health equity. So we already know that healthcare, it's complex, the systems are difficult to navigate, and they're even more difficult to change. There are a lot of different health priorities, and we're wanting to make align the needs with excuse me. We know that there are a lot of different health priorities, so working with people with lived experience and the communities to align their health needs so they can get the care that they are looking for and needing. One of the ways that we do that, we open space within the system for patients and families to drive the improvement of their care. One of the ways we do this is through our PFA network. My fingers are moving faster than my mouth and my brain. So through the PFA network, we fill a space with impactful people, stories, and insights. The PFA network is a group that was created for patients and family members by patients and family members. So we as a team had a retreat earlier, and as we had a painting activity as a team building and kind of downtime. And our paintings reflect our personalities in a sense. And so Lindsay's going to drop in. We're going to do a little poll and see if you can tell what picture belongs to me, what painting belongs to me, and what painting belongs to Libby.
And actually, Naomi, I have everyone on there, so everyone can take a minute or two to pick and choose whose painting you think is whose. And I know some of you might be new to us, so take your best guess who you think is the most artistic out of this bunch. I should have put some Jeopardy music on here.
Oh, let me see if I can grab some. So the first
Right?
one, oh, you have everybody here. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. How well might you know our personalities through our paintings?
Mm.
And I tell you, we did have a guide. We're going to take about 30 more seconds and then we'll close the poll. We have about 54 participation. Um, and if you don't know, just guess.
It's pretty
No,
funny to see these
it is.
responses coming in, though.
All right. So we'll take 10 more. Da, 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 da. My little tap dance, if you will. All right, we'll go ahead and end the poll and let's see if you,
Yeah.
okay, so I don't know how to read this. Help me, Lindsay.
Well, this was just for fun.
Oh, okay,
So we
great.
don't
So it
need to
wasn't a
go
test.
into too
Let
much
me tell you.
detail. No, but I'll just kind of scroll through to see. So it looks like majority think two is Naomi's. Libby kind of all over the place. She could be any one of these.
Well, there's something there, huh?
Stephen three, interesting. And Brittany also all over the place. And everyone thought that five was mine. Um, That is very interesting. I'm going to stop sharing. And then, Naomi, if you want to go to the next slide, you'll see.
So here are the wonderful artists of the paintings. Now, this is Lanielle, this is Stephen's wife, and her painting was not up there. So the one that looked like Mike and Ike's, the one that most people said Stephen, that's Naomi's. Here's Libby.
I have number
Brittany,
two.
Libby's number two. Brittany is number one. Lindsay, were you number five? Do I
I'm
have?
number four. Yes.
Oh, wait. I'm not looking at it. Sorry.
All good.
And then Stephen. So we had painting with a twist. We had a lot of fun, and I don't know if any of them truly signify the picture that we were going from. So we all took our own blend, if you will, from what we were making, but we had lots of fun. So with that, I want to toss it over to Libby so you can finish meeting the rest of the team. I've introduced me, Libby.
Hi, everybody. So glad to see you. I know, gosh, there's lots going on, and it's just wonderful to have you all take the time to join us today. So I'm Libby Hoy. I'm the founder and CEO of PFCC Partners. And I guess, let's see, my favorite part of the work that we do, I think it's the people. I'm seeing that in the chat as well, and I think I guess that's a theme. But I just enjoy getting to meet so many different people, and with different ways of walking through the world and learning from all of them, and with all of them. So really, it's about the people, and excited to move forward. And a fun fact about me, I guess, would be the fact that I'm calling in today from the South Island of New Zealand. We're out here visiting my brother for a bit, and so glad that we were able to make the 20-hour time difference. So I'm actually Saturday morning. You all are still in Friday. Friday was a good day. It was a good, enjoy it. And I'll meet you back when I return. So fun fact. All right. And with that, I will hand off to Stephen Hoy, our Chief Operating Officer.
Yes, hello. Stephen Hoy, Chief Operating Officer at PFCC Partners. True small business format. I wear a lot of hats though, but mostly on the back end of things. Try to keep keep this ugly mug out of the Zoom screen too many days a week. But yeah, thank you all for taking time to join in such a hectic and frantic week. Um, my fun fact, I was between a few things. But I am actually in the Guinness Book of World Records as one of many who hold the record for the most Santa Clauses to ski down a mountain at one time. Hundreds. We are all dressed as Santa Claus and organized in Crescent Butte, Colorado, and sometime around Christmas a handful of years ago. And yeah, so I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records if you look really hard.
Love it, Stephen. I can go ahead and jump in. Hi, everyone. Brittany Jackson here. I am in Colorado. I am the Community Connections Coordinator and support the PFA network. So glad to be here. I would say what I really enjoy and love most about this work is just building the relationships and making connections. I love having a chance to meet folks and hear stories and just learn about everyone's experiences and then make connections back to the healthcare space and let folks' experiences become impactful to healthcare improvement. So I love what I do, and it's very rewarding and just fills my bucket. So let's see, a fun fact. I have gotten really into baking, so I love making bread, and that's something I always used to think would just be very overwhelming, but I find it super, super therapeutic and needing and coming out with a great, tasty product. So bread baking is something that I really enjoy and is a current fun fact for me. Thank you. Glad to be here. Let's see, Lynn, am I going to give her Naomi?
I got it.
Naomi didn't share her fun fact.
I know, I thought about that. Okay. So my fun fact is I used to be a certified scuba diver and absolutely loved scuba diving and trying to see how I can get back to it.
Okay.
Lindsay?
Awesome. Thanks, Naomi, and really excited to be with our whole team on our first community of practice workshop of this year. I will introduce myself. I'm Lindsay Galley. I'm the Vice President of Programs at PFCC Partners. I do a lot of our hands-on work. So unlike Stephen, you probably see my face a lot. But what really fills my cup, and it sounds like relating to all of you as well, is and I think why a lot of us are in healthcare or, in quality improvement or in patient family centered care is because we have this intrinsic desire to help people. Yeah. Helping people mute their lines when they need it, just in any way that I can, but really helping both our healthcare partners and patient family partners and just being able to see the magic when, those two worlds meet and get to learn from one another. I think that really fills my cup. And a fun fact about me, I love music. I love music a lot. And we've moved to a new house and we have a whole record player, and my dad passed down his whole record collection to me. We have this giant record clock on our wall, but I've become really fond of some of his old records, like the Doobie Brothers and Dire Straits, and just so many amazing kind of old school records that he's passed down to me. So having a lot of fun with that. That's me. And now we'll kind of jump into what we've been doing this last year. I approached this like PFCC Partners Wrapped 2024. I don't know if anybody has Spotify, but I got my Spotify Wrapped music again from last year and was really surprised by how much country music I listened to, Libby. Those was my top songs. So PFCC Partners Wrap 2024 was an incredible year. We had so much going on. I feel like this was the first year that we started to get back in person for real this time. And it was so being in person, there's nothing like it. You feel the energy of other people around you. You know, you get to connect on such a deeper level when you're in person. So, wanted to highlight some of the spaces and places we've been over the last year. Of course, also having Brittany Jackson on our team, who joined earlier in 2024 and coming to the PFCC Partners office. All of the conferences that we attended and the boot camps we got to do. And then you can see a list of projects that wrapped up in 2024. So first, we had the Communications in ICU Research Project. That was a PCORI research project. Developing some information about how to improve communications within the ICU, hosting multi-stakeholder meetings, and that was another in-person meeting, right, Libby? Anything else to highlight about that project?
Yeah, that was with our collaborators, Dr. Glenna Chang and Dr. Dong Cheng. And we were working on intervention that Dong had created previously and then getting patient and family input on that. So moving some recommendations forward through our PCORI Engagement Award.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we also wrapped up a few rather large projects, long-term projects. The first with Convergence, the Hospital Quality Improvement Collaborative. That was a CMS contract supporting hospital quality improvement. There was a lot of really amazing work that came out of that contract, and one being Ready, Set, Go, which is a tool to support hospitals to connect the admissions processes, the bedside rounding processes, and the discharge processes all together, because we again, of course, worked with patients and family caregivers and also hospital staff and our state hospital associations as well, to develop something that was co-designed that could work to really create some connectors between those processes. So that was a really exciting project to work on. And just the incredible people that we got to work with as well, who really created space for PFCC Partners to do the unique work that we do. So really grateful for that. Along with Comagine Health Quality Improvement Program, that was another long-term project. We facilitated their patient-family partnership hub, and again got to work with patients and family caregivers who had been connected with Comagine Health for such a long time and had such a passion to support improvements for their populations. So a lot of great engagement opportunities came out of that one. And grateful to our partners at Comagine Health and Convergence Health for their long-term partnership. Libby, do you want to touch quickly on the Acumen Measured Development programs that wrapped?
Yes, we continue to work with our partners at Acumen to engage patient-family partners from the PFA network into the measurement development process. So excited to wrap up a couple of those and start a new one in 2025. So more to come with that.
More to come. Awesome. And then we partnered with New Mexico Hospital Association last year. We put on 2 in-person boot camps. It was the first boot camps in person we had done in years. And it was so much fun. It gave us at PFCC Partners the opportunity to look back at our programming and really be able to support a lot of these critical access hospitals to think of patient-family engagement a little bit differently. So some of these hospitals move forward with developing patient family advisory councils, but others work to set up a listening session really focused on their hospital priorities. So really flipped around some of our programming and got to introduce that to the New Mexico hospitals, got to see New Mexico, a new state I had never been to, and met some really incredible people there. We also hosted a series of 6 virtual webinars that were really focused on connecting patient family engagement and social drivers of health screening or health related social needs screenings, and encouraging engagement within how those screening programs are being developed, and how the hospitals are connecting their patients with resources. And finally, we wrapped up another long-term project, the Los Angeles LA Care Child Development classes. We hosted, excuse me, I didn't grab the numbers, but a lot of in-person classes at the LA Care resource centers, family resource centers, and then virtual child development classes. And for the most part, we had such amazing partners who had participated in those classes, parents who were really seeking just more information about how they can support their children's development. Naomi had a big role in that, doing all of the virtual classes. So Naomi, anything else to add about your time doing those classes?
It was just great to meet with so many parents virtually that were eager to learn about their child's development. We had dads too, which was really nice. And we did have some that were repeat. So they came to the class again. And I learned something new in every session over 2 years. I learned something new from the parents, which was wonderful.
Yeah, really incredible. I got to sit in a lot of those classes too and learn so much. Um, so yeah, that's PFCC Partners wrapped, and just super grateful for all of our partners over this last year, and also all of the patient family partners who were really integral to making these programs happen. And yes, Libby, I forgot to mention that, and I was going to, it was in my notes, but through the LA Care Child Development classes, that was when we had first started using live interpretation on Zoom or simultaneous interpretation on Zoom, and learned a lot through that process. And now in our other contracts within LA County, we are also doing the same. So that's really what kind of sparked where we're at now. Yeah, great call out. Speaking of Los Angeles County, we do a lot of work in Los Angeles County and did this last year. So I mentioned the LA Care Child Development classes. We also are on, and that work continues, the equity and quality at independent practices in Los Angeles County, sorry, or for short, EQIP LA. And Libby has really been leading the work with EQIP LA, so I'll give you a moment to just share some highlights from that.
Yeah, this has been a great project with our partners at California Quality Collaborative, CQC. And the primary aims are to improve health outcomes for Black and Brown communities within LA County, and through the small independent practices, which is typically a harder sort of group to get engaged in some of these bigger quality improvement programs. So this has been a great opportunity for us to be, sort of boots on the ground with folks and how they're engaging. It's also given us an opportunity to really implement the funfetti approach and encourage engagement across the levels. So we're also helping the IPA programs, or the IPA structure, to engage patients and families in their work as well. So a great project wrapping up in the spring of the summer of this year. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that, Libby. We also have some incredible partners, Miguel Renteria being one of them, at Department of Health Services, or DHS. We've been working with Department of Health Services, I believe, since 2018, 2019, where we supported them, their hospitals and health centers to develop patient family advisory councils through our Gateways to Patient Family Partnership program, Learning Collaborative. So those local patient family advisory councils are still going strong. And over this past year, we've really supported them to kind of take those next steps, especially some who struggled during the pandemic, losing time and, participation. So helping them really rebuild. And it's been such a positive experience. And the staff there are just really passionate about learning about their local communities. We also host the Department of Health Services Patient Family Partnership Hub, which is a community of patients and family caregivers, other community members who receive care at any of the DHS health centers or hospitals. So in the Partnership Hub, we really focus on more system level improvements that have been going on, a lot focused on patient experience, but also starting to create a deeper connection with their equity, diversity, inclusion, and anti-racism team that they have at the Department of Health Services. And we were lucky enough to co-design an event last summer. So on the next slide, I just wanted to highlight a few photos from that event. It was really amazing. You could feel the buzz in the room. We had the PFE champions, so the staff who are leading their patient family advisory councils. We had executive support, C-suite support, and of course, a great amount of patient family partners. And it was really incredible to see. We also utilized live interpretation. So our Spanish speaking patient family partners could participate in conversations around connecting to community and learning more about how they can stand up for each other and really create inclusive spaces within their patient family advisory councils or just the communities themselves. This was a really inclusive environment. This was held at the Rancho Los Amigos Rehabilitation Center in their auditorium, and it just creates so much space for anyone who wants to participate in any way that they can. We literally did not turn any single individual away. Our room was packed full, and we still had, patients who were, coming out of their appointment and saw all this buzz around the session and stopped by and said, "Hey, can I come in?" And yep, come on, we'll make space, we'll find space for you. So truly incredible event, and looking forward to doing a lot more in-person work within Los Angeles County this year. All right. So PFCC Partners has also been included on a few publications. Again, we have some really incredible partners who have, led the way in getting information out there. So the first being initiating national strategies for partnership, inclusion, and real engagement, or INSPIRE. This is a really fun project with a handful of other organizations that are, like-minded and really supporting people with lived experiences to get involved and have their perspectives heard. So we were a small part of developing the roadmap to authentic community engagement. And then what I've been promoting so much, because it just aligns so incredibly with how we think about patient-family engagement, is the 9 dimensions of authentic community engagement. So really outlining, what do we mean when we say authentic community engagement? What are those key pieces to ensure that how you're engaging people with lived experience truly comes from an authentic place? So I will share those 2 links in the chat while Libby talks about the Healthcare Payment Learning and Action Network publications as well.
Thank you, Lindsay. That was a lot. No wonder why we did a lot. No wonder why we were a little bit tired last year. Awesome work. I'm really proud of this team, I have to say. The collaboration and the amount of effort that every single team member puts in is a daily reminder of how important this work is. So with that, I have the good fortune to participate on the Healthcare Payment Learning and Action Network, so the HCP LAN Executive Forum. And the Executive Forum consists mostly of leaders of health plans and primary care in the country. And there are 2 subgroups on the HCP land that I also participate in. One is the Health Equity Action Team, or the HEAT team. And the HEAT team took on really defining what is the social return on investment. So, often thinking about the return on investment in financial terms, but what is the social return on investment to our communities when we really invest in creating a equitable health system? And so this work was led by a group out of North Carolina. And I think that it's very well worth the read to understand sort of this concept of social return on investment, and particularly in the work that we're all doing to raise health equity in the system. The second is also related to value. How do we define value? And I think that's an important question for all of us to be asking ourselves on a regular basis, and certainly those who are leading our health system in the country. How do we define value? And so this group, the other group that I'm part of, is the Patient Perspective Council. And so the PPC set about interviewing patients and families, talking with advocacy organizations and others to really understand, what do people value in their healthcare? What do they value as it relates to our healthcare plans? What do we value as it relates to our health systems? And then what do we value related to our clinicians? And so it's a broader look. And I think the value of this paper, and I have been just shouting from the rooftops about it, because I really think everyone should read it, because we need a good understanding of what actual people value in their health plan and in their health care, rather. But the connection from the health plan to the clinician is really important in this paper. So it's one of the first places that I've seen that we've really invited health plans into their responsibility of how do we establish trust in the clinical environment, right? How do I establish trust with my doctor if my health plan has really deteriorated my trust because of fluctuating coverage and the others? So an important paper tying those two together, and importantly, really hearing from the perspective of people what they value most in healthcare. So a couple of publications for your perusal. Thanks, Lindsay, for dropping those in. So I'm going to touch on a couple of quick highlights from the PFA network, and then you're going to hear more from Brittany in just a bit about some of the exciting activities we have going on. But as we looked back at 2024, we had over 500 unique voices engaged across the year. So we have about 1,100 folks on our list and in our community. And Stephen will note it exceeded our tracking abilities for the first time. So we'll be looking forward to capturing that more uniquely. But to have 500 unique voices informing our work, that's so incredible. We managed over $40,000 in stipends this year, using a survey approach so that we are certain that none of our patient family partners are threatening their public funds or their benefits. This number, you might note if you've been with us for a while, that this number is smaller this year, actually, than what we've done in previous years. And the reason behind that is awesome. It's actually an indication of progress. More and more organizations, more and more of the organizations we are partnering with and others are establishing their own compensation policies. They're managing their own stipends now. And so this is really an indication of great progress. 100, we always survey, always want to learn more, always evaluate each of our engagement opportunities. And so in that evaluation, we had 100% of PFA network members that participated in engagement opportunities. So they were partnering with QIOs and with hospital associations and research teams everywhere, measure developers, everywhere that we partner. 100% of them said they would recommend the PFA network to others. And Brittany just facilitated a really important conversation with our PFA network. And she said to me that she shared with me that there was a lot of comments about how that the PFA network felt like a home, felt like a safe space for people to be. And that's exactly what we want to provide for this community. And then 93% of PFA members who participated in an engagement opportunity felt their participation was valued. That's an increase. That's an increase. And so really excited to see some of these outcomes. So on the next slide, let's see. So what did we learn? We have decided to add to the PDSA cycle. So we're adding listening. And I think this is one of the things that we really learned from our DE&I journey, which was listen first. Listen first. What is the problem? And there's so much value in that word that I could do an entire presentation on what happens when we listen first. We learned the value of nurturing communities and nurturing connection. And we also have promoted, and anyone who has worked with us will hear us say over and over and over again, infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. The infrastructure to support engagement of people with lived experience, to get people feeling like they've been impactful, moves good intentions to high impact interactions. So really focusing on that. And then finally, well, not finally, there's many more lessons, but these were kind of some of the highlights. Focusing on inclusion results in greater diversity. So for a team as small as ours, with a passion for engaging folks, we really focus in on creating inclusive opportunities for many, many people, no wrong door to patient-family engagement. And by doing so, we've reached greater diversity. And so that focus on inclusion will continue, absolutely. All right. On the next slide, we'll be looking ahead to 2025. I have a little issue right here. 1 second. I'll be
I'll cue it up. Yeah, the new year, baby. Let's and it'll we had
I'm back.
we had a
I'm
lot of
back.
success. We had, oh, okay. Yep. I was queuing you up. A
I
lot of
know. Thank you
success
so much.
over the last
Yep.
few years and want to continue that progress this year. Hope's not a plan though. So we've spent a lot of time planning. Olivia will run you through the plans.
Oh, my apologies. You know, the best of intentions of getting everything set. All right. So let's look ahead. Where are we going and what are we doing? So we've taken all those lessons that I just mentioned. We've taken the work that we've done in LA County to build from the traditional patient family advisory council structure and moving into this more distributed no wrong door of engagement. And so what we've learned over the last couple of years with LA County and other partners, we've developed the Advisory Council's Transformed Framework, ACT framework. So tapping into the Patient Family Advisory Council as an infrastructure, but creating a more inclusive approach to patient-family engagement. So why do we think that this is important? One is that we need a better response to the greater need for representation in patient-family advisory programs, right? I think as we've gone around the country and we've talked about PFACs, a lot of what we hear from PFAC facilitators is we can't get to the diversity. We can't get to the representation that we need. And so this more distributed, open-ended framework really has the intention of building our representation. Secondly, we want to reduce organizational burden. That's the number one thing, particularly in our rural health systems. We don't have the bandwidth to do a PFAC. We don't have the bandwidth to sustain that model. We hear that. We see that. We know people are working hard and they have the best of intentions. So what kind of an infrastructure is going to work in a less resourced setting? And so that's the second aim that we have in mind with the ACT framework. And then finally, and most importantly, to maximize PFE effort and impact. Nobody has time to put their energy or resources into something that's not effective and not working. We want to ensure that patient-family engagement as an active strategy for improvement is effective and high impact. We want to make sure we're solving the right problems, that we're hearing from the right voices and more voices. So those are some of the whys. So what is it then? The ACT framework fundamentally is a distributed model for engagement activities into direct programs and activities across an organization. Some of the fundamentals, and this is again what we've done in LA County with the Patient Family Advisory Hub. Some of the fundamentals are that patients and family partners can self-select into the activities that they're most relevant to, or most representative for, those things that they have time for. So, we often hear of young moms finding it really difficult to participate in a PFAC, a once a month meeting, but maybe they have time for an interview about that specific discharge. Maybe they have time to participate in a short-term quality improvement project. We don't know. So the opportunity here then is to provide, again, that no wrong door, lanes of engagement, and allowing people to self-select based on their experiences, what they select to get involved in. And really, the PFA network, this is exactly how we run the PFA network, right? Organizations come to us, they complete a request form, we put that out to our patient family partners, people self-select in, we support them, and the connection is made, the impact is made. So what we want to do is build a framework around that model so that it can be replicated in organizations. And then finally, so PFP self-select, and then finally, the PFAC then, oh, I'm not ready there yet. The PFAC then becomes the infrastructure, the organizational infrastructure. So maybe it only meets once a quarter, or maybe even twice a year, to fundamentally ensure that evaluations are happening, that reports are happening, that all of those functions that are necessary are happening, but don't necessarily have to happen on a monthly basis. So the PFAC, if they are in existence, then would be that kind of infrastructure or administrative arm of your patient family engagement program. All right. I want to stop here because we've gotten so many questions about the patient safety structural measure. Structural, I've been talking about infrastructure. We will, as a matter of this framework, as we publish or make it public in March, we will also include an addendum specific to the PSSM. We know hospitals are concerned about this, and how are they going to meet domain 5 being around patient family engagement? We're going to really lay that out. And so, yes, one of the questions that we got in our registration was, would a patient family partner on a PI team suffice for the PFAC assessment? And the answer is yes, and yes, and we would have to do some other things as well. So there will be more direct support for the PSSM coming alongside of the framework. Just wanted to make note of that. And then how are we putting this framework together? Well, it's based on all those key learnings we've been doing as we've been doing this work for the last 15 years and the last few years as we've really created this more inclusive approach. So it's based on our key learnings, but it's importantly has input and will continue to have input from our PFA network members. What's working for you guys? How are you feeling impactful? It's also going to have, importantly, because we do everything in a collaborative co-design method, frontline staff. We want to engage them in the creation of the framework so that we're ensuring that it's going to actually be reasonable, fundamental in their environments. We've engaged QI experts to ensure that we're meeting all of those standards and really engaging people with lived experience into QI. Our state hospital association partners have been fantastic about helping us to think about the needs of their communities as well. And then we'll refine. This isn't a framework where it's going to be a stagnant thing. We're going to continue to learn. We're going to cultivate curiosity. We're going to cultivate learnings. We're going to continue to improve this framework. So that is coming now. Finally, when? That is coming in March. The full framework will be available in March. In the meantime, if any of you on the call have thoughts about this, have ideas about this, are interested in maybe testing bits of the framework at your organization, please do get in touch. We're all in this together. This isn't just PFCC Partners framework. This is really a collaboration of what the community needs together. All right. So as I said, it's a distributed model, and the lanes of engagement, these are some things that I think a lot of you are probably doing already, but maybe haven't thought about it in these terms, in that how do we engage people through this no wrong door? The lanes of engagement are essential to the ACT framework because we want to have multiple places where people can interact. This list, I think we have a second slide. We've already added to it. Is there another slide? Okay. We've already added to it. There is another slide. It's not in this deck, but we're going to continue to add to it. And so as we work with organizations and they try new things, we'll add it and put that out there. So again, no wrong door. These are all the kinds of activities. These are several of the doors. We're going to keep building new doors. All right. So with that, as we get together in the beginning of the year and we set about, like many of you, set about our annual goals and aims, our number one overarching objective for 2025 is that 95% of our PFA network members feel engaged, feel respected, and feel impactful in those engagement processes. So it's not enough just to, we're not doing check boxes at all anymore, right? We need patients and families to feel that they've had impact, that they can see the impact. And this goal comes from the National Academy of Medicine's community engaged framework. And you might wonder why are we focusing on the people with lived experience? Why do we want them to feel engaged and respected? Because if they feel engaged and respected, then the infrastructure you've put in your organizations, the infrastructure we've put in our organization is functional. It's working. It's working for the organization as well. And so while this might seem focused on people with lived experience, it's an indication that the organization has done the work to be really effective in its goals as well. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Brittany, our newest, but talk about high impact. Whoo, what a great add to our team. Britt?
Thank you, Libby. It has been so wonderful to read the chat and to just listen to all that is going on in one concise webinar. It's been great to be a part throughout the year, but it's also really wonderful to see and also to hear from you all. So I am so honored to be able to support and lead the PFA network, which is a wonderful community of patients and families, caregivers, community leaders all over the country, all with the same common goal and efforts to reinvent healthcare, to improve healthcare, to have authentic partnerships. So you can see here on the screen and also on our PFA network website a lot of this wonderful information. But honestly, the PFA network, as Libby mentioned earlier, is meant to be a safe space, truly a community for people with lived experience, patients, family members to come together, to use their voices, use their experiences towards authentic partnerships. And that is definitely the cornerstone of our mission. So it's been such an honor. And as we continue to dive into 2025, just so excited for more. So yep, go ahead, Naomi. Thank you. So we have made some updates to our PFA network scheduling and programming. And so we are really excited to be able to offer our great community events in a quarterly programming, if you will. So we are starting with Building Bridges, and we actually just had our first one of this year, this morning. But Building Bridges is a wonderful opportunity for our PFA network to come together. It's really intended to create a sense of belonging within the PFA network. And so it's so rewarding to be able to come together, have authentic conversations, to have speakers from various communities share their lived experiences, and just again have that safe space and the opportunity to connect, learn, and it's just really wonderful and rewarding. And then we have our skills exchange, which is an awesome opportunity for our PFA network members and our patient family partners to gain new skills or to hone their skills and to share skills. And so coming up in February, which is about a week away, which is wild, is core competencies for effective partners. And so we are so excited to offer these two-part skills exchanges, again, where we are able to raise up particular skills that are very important to authentic partnership for our patient family partners. And everyone's able to come together, learn from each other, and hone those skills that really make partnership with you all even more successful. And then we also have our coffee chats, which are really wonderful opportunities to come together around specific topics, hot topics, some that community members bring or some that we are aware of in the landscape. And we feel like it's important to bring to our PFA network. And we talk about it as a community. Folks come and share their experiences or stories, different interactions they may have just had at a particular conference, anything like that. So coffee chat is just another great opportunity for us to come together as a community, feel that sense of community, because we are literally all over the country and beyond. And so it's great for everyone to be able to see each other virtually and talk about what's going on across the country and in everybody's experiences with healthcare. All right. And so it's been really, really wonderful this year for us to learn more about how to be more accessible as a team for ourselves, but also for you all and for everyone that we're working with. And so this year, Libby really did a fantastic job of spearheading our communication access plan and getting us started and really making sure that we're super mindful and intentional about being accessible. And by that, we mean producing written and verbal and online content that is accessible for everyone. And we are really doing our absolute best to understand, again, to listen, to learn, to find out what that means and how we can address different elements of accessibility and, again, this communication access plan. And so one of the things that we did was actually open it up and put it out to the entire community. So we by no means feel as though we are the 100% experts on accessibility and what a communication access plan should entail. And so we opened it up to the entire community for folks to be able to literally get in, put their own thoughts or experiences so that we can continue to evolve the plan. So this is a working plan, a working document that we will continue to build and grow from. It has these different elements here, as you can see on the screen, but they are really important to making sure, as Libby said, that we are inclusive. And in that way, we are being more inclusive to everyone, but also opening up the doors to diversity and working with different people that we may not have been able to because we may not have known we were doing something. And so we are an always learning team and organization, and we're open. If things come to light, we're doing our best to address those things for the network, for all of our work. And so it's been incredibly meaningful and rewarding to work on this communication access plan and to just keep learning and keep doing the work. And it's been great, and we will continue to pursue this throughout 2025 as well. Okay, and so I also want to walk through and talk a little bit about our guidance for effective engagement with the PFA network. And so, so many of you come to us because you have these opportunities that you're working on, and you would love to incorporate the voice of a patient family partner. And so, as you can see here on the screen, we have a few different steps that we like to follow. The infrastructure is incredibly important, as you know, to try to maximize our partnerships. And so we really like to help sort of encourage how we work together so that everyone has a really great experience. And so we start with pre-engagement, which is really collecting information. We have a structured form for our partners to complete, an engagement opportunity form. And in that way, you all are able to fill out the form, give us all kinds of information about what you are working on, your organization, the type of engagement you're looking for. Libby just went through lanes of engagement. So the types of engagement that you're looking for and looking to do. And again, all of the information that you're looking for with that you would like to work with our patient family partners. And so then once you get all that to us, we review that. And so then we start looking through our network of over 1,000 patient family partners, again, all over the country from tons and tons of different experiences and backgrounds. And so then we are taking what you give us and coming up with a recruitment package, if you will, and putting that out there. So it may look different depending on what information we get and what type of engagement it is, but then we are recruiting for these engagement opportunities. And then we are also working on preparation. And so with that, we are supporting our patient family partners. We are having preparation meetings so that our patient family partners feel prepared for these engagement opportunities and to be able to work together. An example is also these skills exchanges that I just talked about. So we're doing things all throughout the year as well, so that when we all come together in partnership, it's a fruitful experience. So we have prep meetings and we are supporting and having open communication along the way. So during engagement, that communication is open. I'm generally the first point of contact, so you can reach out to me. We're communicating to make sure that everything is flowing nicely. And then following the engagement, we are also offering stipends, or we're working with you to see what that compensation looks like. We have evaluations, as you can see earlier, the numbers. And so it's very structured and a great way for, again, us all to come together for authentic and fruitful partnerships with our patient and family partners. And so it's really wonderful to have this structure for all of us involved. And so throughout 2025, we are very excited and hopeful that we will all be able to walk through these steps and have even more engagement opportunities and opportunities for you all to work with us and for our patient family partners to be able to lend their voices to the great work going on out there in healthcare. So I've said a lot of things in a very quick amount of time. So thank you all so much. You can always reach out if you have questions, but I am going to turn it back over to the team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brittany. And for everyone, I know it says Q&A and we have like 2 minutes. So if you have, and I can't see the chat, so team, please help me if there were any questions that have come in that we haven't answered. I know the questions that we got with registration, an overarching theme was how do we go about engaging our patient family partners? And our team laid that out here today. So going through the lanes of engagement, looking at the PSSM, which wasn't shown, but how we're going through and transforming PFACs, and going to the ACT framework. I do want to make sure I mention this before I ask if there are any questions that we missed. Join us. Have you been missing our PFCC conference? If so, join us in Portland, Oregon, where we will be partnering with the Camden Coalition and National Center for Complex Health and Social Needs, say that fast 3 times, at the 2025 Putting Care at the Center conference. More to come. There are the RFP requests for proposals are open. So by all means, please go out and submit your proposal. Okay, what I missed, team?
I just wanted to address Ting's question about that Ting is one of our patient family advisory network members, and he's noticing that many of the patient family partnership programs get placed under patient experience in the work. And so just wanted to call out the engagement of patient family partners into quality improvement. And that is really where our focus has been and will continue to be. So again, patient family engagement as a strategy to improve all outcomes, patient experience included, but importantly, quality and safety too. So thank you.
Thank you, Libby, for catching that. I know we are at time. Join us next month where we will have Patients for Patient Safety presenting with us and sharing the Project Pivot. Super excited to learn more about that. Were there any other questions that I might have missed? Okay, nope. Fabulous. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for our first community practice of the year. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next month. Have a great one, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you
Have a good
sometime
day.
this
Thank
year.
you.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, Albert.